Aleratec subscribed at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 32 months, currently on a 5-month streak. And says, end of line.
Hello. Okay. It's been a lot of day today already. I've been here doing a bunch of stuff. So there's going to be a little bit to catch up on. We are not doing any Windows Vista nonsense. So I said we would catch up on that and continue that this weekend. I lied, apparently, because it just doesn't make any sense to attempt that. So we're not going to do that.
19 raiders from Belgium have joined. End of line.
So also, Digital Ice Age, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 32 months. I appreciate that. So, all right. I do have some stuff to show off here, though. Hope your stream tonight is more successful than yours. Oof. Well, hopefully. I kind of don't know what we're doing quite yet, so we'll see how that goes. So, Yep. So, all right. Let's go over the thing. So, boom. I now have the ability to control the stream fully remotely. So, this is something that will have a, I'm actually going to release a full video on tomorrow. So, that's a thing. This gets even more fun, though, because if we go over to here, you can get a better view of the software itself. So it has a controls for a lot of things here, and this is going to be extremely handy. I'm really looking forward to it. This is what I've been working on. This morning I had to implement a couple more things for this to make it work, actually, and that took longer than I anticipated. The next thing that I want to show you, though, is also pretty sweet. Okay, I'm gonna destroy things. Hold on. This is one of those times where things, oh my gosh, I wish both of my hands weren't full right now. There we go. That'll work. Okay. Oh. Okay. I should have done a thing here where I have chat split. Why is there no option to just detach tab from touchscreen? Wouldn't that make sense? Can I hold and new window? One moment. This is being done. No. Oh my gosh. Hold on. New window. Why is the default homepage the stupid Nextcloud login screen? Anyway, there we go. Now I got chat in this. Okay. Woo for rare camera angles? Yes. Can you just not hold the tab? No, because it would just, here, look, I'll show you. It doesn't do anything. Trying to do that. I don't know why. If I hold the window movement thing, then it works. Actually, now it won't snap to the side of the monitor. Cool. Anyway, look, it's a computer. You want to see it better? Here, let me go into this and then tap that computer. And then I got to wait a little bit and kind of hope I can maybe have an idea when this finishes. I can see a thing. Boom. Hey, look, it's computer. Isn't that cool? You got that there's a computer. So another thing is that's actually scaled to fill the whole frame. I can press another thing here, boop, and now it will be scaled correctly to the resolution that the computer is outputting. So there's a lot of stuff this can do now. So, yeah, that's it. I only turned this on so we can see that. Now I'm going to turn it back off. It's now possible to much more easily switch between the different things in the office, which will make it way easier to actually use it all. So, all right, let's go back to what we're actually going to do today. All right. That is the XP 20th anniversary PC, yes. All right. So, I left the other thing I needed over there. Great. I kept dragging it around because I was going to maybe do a thing, and then I decided not to do a thing. All right. Okay. All right. An XP computer with working ACPI. What sorcery is that? Step 1, use hardware from the correct era. Okay. I'm all right. MB. Okay, let's see. What was the next thing here? Well, there is, if I do a couple of things over this, on this. All right, here we go. Okay. Wi-Fi off. Yeah, that would do things, would it not? Okay, there we go. Ugh. It was a lot to set everything up that I did this morning. It didn't help that I came in with ideas and problems and wanting to solve them. So yeah. Let's look at the next thing. So I just set my phone up there. I can click one button. Boop. Hey, look, it's phone. We can see phone now. And you'll notice that the CD robot looks different because do the thing. Wait, did the battery die already? That would be kind of hilarious. Oh my gosh, I think a battery died on this already. No? Oh, now it's going to work. Maybe it just needed a boot. Oh. There we go. All right, there we go. It's CD Robot with party mode. Yay, party mode, CD Robot. Woo. Okay. So these are actual discrete RGB strips that I added, obviously not for this, but so that we could do this, or maybe this one, to have a light built into the machine for the webcam to be able to see. So that's there now. Looks wait until the flashing stops. It's done now. So the reason I did that, this is one of those totally don't have ADHD moments. I was like, I need another arm like this phone is on so that I could put the other phone, which is still over there, by the way, just running, looking at nothing. That's a whole phone right there. I need the other phone to also have a mounting arm. So let me figure out what options I've got. And then I'm like, oh, I have a light hanging over the CD robot. If I remove that, then I would have the arm free. But then I wouldn't have light for the CDs. And it's like, you know, it'd be cool if the robot just had lights built in. And then it snowballed. So are they RGB CCT? Is that like with the
Or a goose says
No.
CHER 100
not.
a whole phone, you say? Better than trying to fill with half a phone. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. I have not messed with VHS decode for VHS. I have messed with LD decode, which is the same software. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you can use VHS decode to decode Laserdisc rips. I do want to get to that at some point, but that's far off because I need the hardware for the VHS tapping just kept changing. So anyway, let's see. I think there were a couple other questions. Will this be one of the stream which you introduce something new you will release a video about within 24 hours? We'll find so many flaws you have to re-edit the video. I don't think you're going to find flaws in the software. So unless you download it and set it up and run it yourself in that amount of time. So here's why. Okay, if we go back to this, all right. So to generate this page, you have to make a config file, and the config file for the Office now has reached almost 1,100 lines because there are many options now, and they can't all be allowed to stay on at once. So like here's an interesting thing. Okay, so like let's say we look at the desk phone. All right, well, that was wrong. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Let's go back to the webcam here, all right? So we want to look at the desk phone, okay? But what if I want to show you the camera that's on the workbench? Well, now I can do that by using the small view there. But that's done through the ATEM, and that uses an HDMI feed, which means that image is actually cropped. Which is weird. So there has to be the option to enable or disable every single feed. Ooh, so float phone overlay is not working. Hold on, let me look at that. Oh, it's down in the bottom left. Okay, I did that because I thought we might want that for today. I forgot about that. Okay. Because when I'm at workstation, if I want to enable the floater phone, no, not that. I want back to capture. If I want to enable the floater phone like that, I want it down there. But now I'm going to have to enable the webcam, and I'm going to have to do that manually because
gifting 5 tier 1 subs to TechTankins' community. They've gifted a total of 215 in the channel. End of line.
Spooky, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate that. All right, watch the start of the video. The fly would have mentioned you brought up in a text thing, so you definitely know about. Brought up in a text thing. Oh, not being able to see the video output when I walk over to there. Yeah, that's basically it. Good Lord, phone, what? Whole bunch of Google AI nonsense emails. All right.
CORGO 122. End of line.
DDO Pez, thank you for the 100 bits. Nearly complete. Should simplify things. It's a lot. FPGA board, take multiple channels, handle capture. That's not what I was. That's not what I thought I was going to be. Okay, I thought I was just going to be a front end to the Doomsday duplicator that took 2 RF channels or something. I don't know. VHS is somehow worse than Laserdisc because there's multiple heads. So, thinking more about the flashing, the brightness going crazy. Oh, so that's just Droid Cam OBS. That's just the software I use for my phone. That's its fault. So here's how I fixed that. Okay, that clip, you guys will see it tomorrow, is so much worse than you actually see in the video. If you want to see how bad it really is, when I switch to the full capture view, I don't edit the small view of it, but it was so bad. It was very frustrating because I didn't see that until I was done in editing.
CHER 100. Yeah, I'll get in on the hype train action. Choo choo. And also, what is it with you fancy setup streamers making me want to buy an Extron IN1606 this week? End of line.
I thought you had one, Ben. Is it only Majenko that has one? Thank you for the 100 bits, Ben. All right. We ready to go over some stuff and talk about some plans and do some things? Okay, it's a Doomsday replacement. That's, okay. Not the direction I thought it was going. Majenko has one. Okay, you have DXP44 HDMI. Don't mind me, I'm just looking that up real quick because, you know, more Extron always better. DXP44 HDMI. Okay, so 4x4 HDMI matrix switcher up to 1920 by 1200. Okay. Anyway, for anyone who cares, the software is open source, available, all that fun jazz. I've tried to document it a lot. It'll be available. There'll be a video that explains it somewhat tomorrow, because the thing is, it's too complicated. If I wrote a script for like how it works.
Level 3 CHER 100. End of line.
Spooky, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate that. But if I tried to like script the video and really talk through it, it would have been like 3 weeks. It's way too complicated. Just go read the documentation if you care that much. Okay, let's go through some stuff here. Okay, let me go over some of my ideas for what we need to do next. This I can now shove over into the other monitor because we're done with that for the moment. Okay, clean slate. All right. So here's the thing. Over here, we now have the dedicated computer for running the robot. It's not actually on. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on right now. The Caesar scanner is, we're going to ignore that for right now. But here's the thing, okay? First off, I started modifying the software on this and then forgot to push the git code changes. So that's going to be the first thing I do. Oh, someone asked if these are good for 4K Blu-ray. I have no idea. Ripping Blu-ray is not my primary concern right now. They were just kind of the go-to option for it. Did you add lights? Oh, you should go look at S-Tech. You'll enjoy that. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, okay. So we ripped a bunch of stuff last weekend. Like how the light strips extend across above the top of the chassis. So that's one part. This is an Aleratec Auto Publisher LS BB Rhino. If you want to know more about it, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel. Anyway, these go up above because there is not a lot of space above it for more lights. And what ends up happening is there's way more light for the bottom drives than there is for the top. So I extended them up so that there would be at least 4 LEDs for the top disc. Looks like railroad crossing bars. I know it just looks weird. There's nothing I can do about it. I know. The thing is that the lights cannot be over the disc in any way or we get direct reflections. It's kind of noticeable with the bottom and middle discs like this already, but it's not bad, at least. So yeah, actually I can show you what it looks like. So let's just open Git, and then we can go to Pi disk rip and out. So this is about as bad as it gets. This is what a fully reflective disk in the middle drive looks like. Being sincere, I understand, yes. I'm just saying there's reasons. There's everything there is set up for that way and a reason. But
Or
this...
who says CHEER 100? It looks weird. Like that's an uncommon outcome around here. End of line.
Clay, thank you for the 100 bits. How's Vista going? Vista's gone. I kicked it out. It's not worth it. Vista sucks. It wasn't going to happen. Apparently, the network card and the USB card, controller, whatever, were just never going to work with Vista. I think it's just that exact platform. Just not going to happen. Can't see screen? Fair. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can write all the software you want to make it easy to switch scenes, but you can't make the streamer actually use it. Okay. So yeah, this is what the like worst case is for putting a disc in there. So highly reflective. The lights cast a very thin, bright strip. But yeah, what's the mini PC running now? It's still Debian headless. So, oh wait, you mean the other one? Right now, actually Debian KDE, because I needed it for a different thing. You know, I hate apps. Hold on, I need to kill notifications from this app really quick. One moment. Just let me configure the stupid thing. Notification settings. Hold on. So what's going to happen to that Dell now? I don't know. Same thing it did before. Sit under a desk. I don't know. It's general rule of thumb. You start getting notifications from an app and you don't want them, just kill the notifications. Hold on, let me just go through. What else? I don't want tips. I don't know what Studio is. I don't want notifications from that. I don't want Samsung notifications. I guess the phone is allowed to have notifications. Those are allowed. Yeah, it's allowed. That might as well. KDE Connect. You know, I could go for that notification being gone. Play Store, don't care. I do need GitHub. I don't want the stupid, oh, look what photos we took last year one. No. eBay, you know, if there's one app I could understand giving like super advanced priority notifications to, it'd be eBay. Okay, clock, calendar, Android system intelligence, no. Amazon, you know what? No. Or maybe I can change what notification categories. Nope, there's just notifications or notifications. I'm not disabling Discord, Dziak, but I could disable notifications for you. It's not about muting all notifications. It's about muting the stupid ones that are just marketing direct to your device. There we go. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, not to use Lou flight training. Yeah, I know. No, it was an app I had installed that uses a speedometer on a bicycle. Because, surprise, surprise, it's been like 7 years since I built my GPS bike speedometer. I have no idea where it even is right now. Okay, I'm catching up on chat. Google keep wanting me to give them your birthday. Dude, Facebook keeps emailing me for my birthday like once a week. And I'm like, it ain't gonna happen. Going without a kill notifications on Android. All right. Managed to solve the race condition drive enumeration from last week. Let's find out. Okay, I wanted SSH into the computer anyway. It's got one of them addresses. So let's see. What is it? Is it 251? Maybe? I don't know. You know, let's just YOLO SSH 192.168.1.251. Is that it? Oh my gosh, I'm amazing. I remembered a thing. All right. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to manually enable. Hold on. I gotta mess with this, unfortunately. Ooh, wait. I can do fancy pants things like I know what I'm doing or something. Here we go. And then, boop. There we go. I don't have a good setup. Okay, I'll just explain it this way. So this, all right, these all perform a single action, okay? Nice bash history. Boom, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Everything on this computer may as well be public. Like, it does not matter. Wait, that's the wrong computer. That one extra doesn't matter. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, okay. These aren't toggle. I can't click this to enable it and click it to disable it. So I can't do that. Any cool finds on Facebook Marketplace? No, because I don't look on Facebook ever. Freedom of knowledge. It's more like I know I have no privacy on this computer. So, all right. Let's see. Eject dev sr1. Boom. 2. Boom. And 3. Boom. Okay, so they're all correct. So there's that. Not that you can see now that it looks like Las Vegas over there, but trust me, they're all correct. Why do I have one then? Have one what? FBM is the only reason I use Facebook. Oh, well, for one, 2010 happened where everyone was doing that. But two, the Meta Quest headset thing. So. And that's why they actually keep asking for my date of birth. Now, I would look on Facebook Marketplace if I could bookmark searches. That is the line that they cross. That means that I will never use them. I cannot bookmark searches, and I cannot be bothered to type into the search box. Anyway, let me hold on first. CD git PyDisk rip git push. Nuh-uh, git status. I know you got changes. Git diff. This has the fixes for, yeah, the delay. That's what I wanted. Where did I add this? That's what I thought. I added that to Media Reader. That's bad, but also maybe it doesn't matter. I also added it to 2 places. I mean, I guess both are fine. At this exact point, human interaction would be required. So I think that it's acceptable that it's left in Media Reader. You can bookmark searches? Do you mean within Facebook? Or do you mean with your web browser? Didn't you correct it later in the code? No, this is the correction. The thing that was an attempt to correct was this, and that failed. This was the actual fix. Anyway, git commit -am Add delays to fix drive race condition. Get push. Okay. All right, let me explain some stuff, and I can do this by mount dev sdb2. Doing the cd SSD, and then, you know, both. Huh. Well, that sucks. Now I have to look at Facebook. Ugh. Gross. I think that has changed recently, because I swear that it did not update the URL before. I don't think that was possible. Ugh. Darn. No, I don't want to bookmark within the website. Here's the thing. Here's how I do Craigslist, okay? So there is bookmark menu, okay? Within a bookmark menu, all right, you can have a folder, all right? CL, Craigslist, okay? In a folder in Firefox, you can right-click, and then you can open all bookmarks. It won't let me do it because there are none in it. And that will open every single one in a tab. The benefit to that is then I can just go through them one at a time and close the tabs as I go along and view everything. So you can also just middle click the folder and it will do that. So like if I just put this in there, I can middle click this, boom, it opened everything that was in there. So it's extremely easy to quickly go through all of the bookmarks that you have. So that is why that was like big time feature for me. Get poll. Okay. All right, let me explain a problem. Oh, well, first off, the problem is I no longer have the config file for the APLS here. So home archive this scp settings dash APLS. I'm going to go ahead and copy this to the home folder, ls. I assume it's not there. Yeah. 192.168.1.251. All right. Let's just cd byobu, and then we'll vim. No, first we'll do this. That way I have that down and available. And then we'll vim. Okay, and then we're going to open this, and now we're going to adjust this to have the weird, what you call it, by disk path things. IP leak, yeah. Problem is you always have at least one problem to solve. I always have lots of problems to solve. Oh, here, let me get ahead to what the problem actually is. I was going to try and launch a web page so that I can make it like fancy and like you understand exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't have a cached version of the web page anywhere that I can just like pull up. But just pretend that you can see the web page for the software. Okay, there's the list of the media files in the middle. Okay, wouldn't it be cool if after I typed in the wrong name or made a typo or something, if I could update that to fix the name? Like, that would make sense, right? Why did the phone just go away? Weird. Oh, I know what happened. Yeah, there's a bug with this software. If I can't easily do it. When you click anywhere in it, it actually resends the last event that was sent. So like workstation, workbench, desk, or whatever. Because I am very lazy. I'll just say it that way. Anyway, here's the thing. I want the software to have the ability to rename files baked into this script here. So I want, like, next to eject, I want a function rename. I also want a function delete. I want a function for starting the conversion process. And I want this built into here because I was looking through the files that we archived last weekend, all right? And what was going on, hold on, I'll do this a different way. Is it this? No. User, share. Oh, okay, holy moly, that's a lot of them. Why? Why are there so many? Okay, I don't know which one's which. It's not that. It's not that. It's not, maybe the name's here. No, that's not what I wanted. No, not that either. I wanted this. Okay, shell, that's what this one is. Okay, hold on. Just one moment. One moment. Images. Holy moly, that's really high resolution. That actually does not work. How big is this? That's not good enough either. Fine, we'll start with this. Open this. Image. Canvas size. Actually, maybe not canvas size. Image. Scale image. 1920, 1080. Perfect. Box. Width. 500. Boom. New layer. Okay. This. Boom. And then right there. Yeah, that'll work. File. Export. Oh, I could just overwrite that. Nah. Pictures. Save. Classic awkwardness of drawing a box in GIMP. I just Control-A to then set the width. It worked perfectly. I don't know what you're talking about. Add image. Save. I love it when you add an image, it doesn't immediately switch to it. Boom. Okay. There we go. So now I can see, right there. Because I know that this window here is 500 pixels wide. So now I know exactly what the edge is. Because I don't see what's up there. I'm not looking at the stream recording. So. All right. Anyway, okay, back to the problem I need to solve. We had an error last weekend where I forgot to hit enter on one of the file names, then I moved on to the next entry and it offset everything in the list by 1. It is not trivial to rename a media sample because the name is used all the way down through it. All the way down into the bin queues that get generated. There's got to be an example here somewhere. What about Quack? Yeah, there we go. So the bin queues that are created have the name in here. So if we open this, you can see all the way down to that. So what I'm thinking is the software itself, PyDescript, should have the ability to rename this stuff. Because elsewise it wouldn't make sense. I could write a bash script that could like do a recursive search down into this, but if I write it into this, then it could be called upon from the web interface. And then we start to get into some of the stuff that I kind of realistically need to add at some point anyway, where we do queue management. So I think that would be important. Like one thing I think would be pretty sweet. Maybe we do this weekend, maybe we don't. I don't know. I've already managed to yak for 40 minutes and do nothing. So progress is slow. I think let's actually get this working. I think it would be cool to do make the queue that shows up on the left side of the image. That's the left side for you guys. Have it be a bunch of labels for radio box inputs. And then you can click one, it'll highlight that. And then up at the top, there will be controls for like move up, move down, delete, all that kind of fun stuff. So that you could manage the queue items going in there. So you're allowed 45 minutes of tangent before being productive. Yeah. Well, that doesn't work as well on Fridays. Disk by path. Okay. We have to ls-l. Boom. All right. We don't want that. I think did we want the USB ones? I don't remember. I don't remember what the answer is. Isn't it Control S and then Alt? Can't find
Chloricus says CHEER 100Q management sounds like a Picard issue. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. All right, let's grab this. So top is this one. Middle is, it's the 2 point blah, blah, blah. Yes, 2. Okay. Time feels faster the older you get. And then, nope. Undo. Dev, disk, slash, by, dash, path, that. That's right. Yank, paste, delete, get lost in Vim, to yank, paste, delete. I tried editing the video route script in Vim and I was gonna cry because it was so complicated. I was like, this is not worth it. Because it's on the stream PC and I was like, I don't want to have to use the Ookie Cherry point of sale keyboard. So I was like, I'm gonna use Vim and remote edit it, and then it'll be all so much better, and I'll be happy and everything, blah, blah, blah. And then it totally sucked. All right, everything else looks good. Is there a reason I'm FIFO falsing? I'm pretty sure I want FIFO true. All right. Also, I'm not using a GUI. There's no reason to hide the input folder. There we go. Okay. Now, copy settings, APLS to SSD. Boom. CD, SSD, boom. Disk rip, dash, S, settings, dash S, settings, APLS, dash W. Okay. What? Vim, you were supposed to warn me when I made a JSON mistake. Where is it? You have the left keys in for the... You have left the keys in for the list. The keys... Oh, good catch. Thank you. Yep. So this drive list only exists to associate these drives with this controller. Even though there is a controller ID up there. Software is hard, man. Executive producer? Wait, is it? Does it say that? What? By Shelby G. Oh, you put here, Vim, get pi descript. So when you generate a parse args thing in Python, there's information that you are like recommended to put in, and epilogue. I guess I did manually put that in. I thought you put in your name there. Okay. Yep, I'm vain, I guess. Never mind. I was going to say, I just put in my name and it generates that automatically. Nope. Here's the thing. I bet I did that once, like 2 years ago, and I just forgot I did it at all because I never look at that. Half of the programs that I've released that use this same base code still say RetroTink 4K in them. Okay. Now we can see the CD robot. So let me look at this. Wesley gets it. All right. I'm going to load one disk. This is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. Okay. We can load up the web page now, too. All right, this is the manual for my VGA crosspoint. Pay no attention to this. Okay, 192251. Boom. Okay. Oh, all right. That's why you know 2 years later you wrote the code. I know who to blame for it. Yep. Okay. So I don't have any photos. So NFS HP2. All right, go. All right. We already ripped this before, so it's not critical to actually get this ripped, but I do want just a sample locally because I left the drive with all of the things that we ripped at home. Also, this is the first time you'll be able to see an image taken with the new lighting. So let's see what this looks like. I'm kind of at the regret stage with how I designed this software. So I'm not feeling great about this at the moment. There is a lot of technical debt in this, and I'm not happy. And I don't know exactly how I want to move forward with it. There we go. Look at it. It did not focus. What is wrong with you? Did it focus on the spindle? The lighting's pretty good though, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. Have the ability to click and select these. All right. Ooh, that's a problem. I hadn't considered that. There's so much technical debt. Just waiting for the drive to fail to open the thumbnail, generate motion blur the image of the falling disc. A lot of things that have to fail in a very specific way. The good news is the drive calibration for my drives is basically perfectly on top of the fifth spindle at like, that's why we can see it through there. So if the tray doesn't open, it actually just drops the disc on there. Ugh. I'm just gonna swap these around now, that way it doesn't drop it into an empty bin. added bling. I added lights so that the photos don't need an external light source now. Put some black so not to become the focus center. I guess I could. It would have to be incredibly thin, like paint, though, because if it's any thicker, then the spindles won't align well. So, like, I can't even just put, like, shrink tubing on there. That'd be too thick. You guys want party mode? Oh, the remote. Is the remote working yet? Oh, there it goes. Oh, yeah. Party mode. That will never get old. Why is it so hard to hit the LED? There we go. Oh, that one's not the green one. The lighting, I can't adjust the white balance of the camera, apparently, so I have to have the lighting be very green. At least blinking red if an error occurs would be great. So, this is a, like, complete standalone RGB light strip package. It is not connected to the computer at all. So, there is no way for it to be computer controlled. It will never happen. These are leftovers from when I did the daylight lighting software that was controlled by a Raspberry Pi, and I connected these directly to the Raspberry Pi with drivers. It would be great. I wouldn't be against it, but I don't think it'll happen. Not connected yet. Not connected ever. No. Not gonna happen. That will never gets old. Gets old. I would leave it on. Nah, I'm just saying. A Pi with IR to send the commands? No, I'm good. IR sucks. Oh, man, it is a fish. Ooh, you know, it'd be cool. We could set this up. Hold on. Well, it's going. Let's see. Sudo su dash password. All right. Apt install Samba. Oh man, I don't know what we need for this. Hold on. Debian Samba server. It'd be nice to be able to just access these files. So let's set up a Samba server really quick. IRDA is a whole lot easier because that's just serial over IR. You don't even realize that it's IR. You just serial in, serial out, problem solved. Okay, this is cool, Debian, but like, how do I install it? Install just plain Samba? Just straight up Samba. That's just all it's called, Samba. Okay, apt install Samba, sure. 31 megabytes is so much. International Hot and Spicy Food Day. Well, that coffee's already gone. It was a little early morning. Failed to fetch, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But did you install it? Doesn't look like it. Why? Looks like you got a bunch of other stuff. Fetch 30 megabytes in 11 seconds. Okay. I'm confused. I mean, I guess we can apt update. I don't know if I've ever run it on this computer. Okay. Apt install. Yes. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I never ran apt update. Oops. Well, Gertinio, what I'm talking about is from the user perspective, IDRA appears as serial. There is no mechanism normally where you would send to IRDA without it just being serial. Updates are for wusses anyway. You say that, but I'm looking to kill automatic updates on every computer in the office now. So, all right. Okay. Vim, etc. Samba, SMB conf. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay. I don't want to send printers; those are boring. I don't want net login. Okay. So let's do SSD. Okay. Now we want a whole bunch of stuff. Here we go. That's some stuff. Not all the stuff we want, but that's some of it. All right. Comment. At the drive what have the files. Read only, no path. Home. Kugu. SSD. Guessed okay. Yes. Okay, hold on. We want a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. All right, here we go. Work group, sure. Log file, that, yada, yada. Server, Sentinel, sure. Unix password sync, Boolean parameter, whether or not things are. Password change, map guess user, login path, user script. I don't think any of that's doing what I want. By default, home directory, export no, create mask, valid users. Okay. Man, there's some weirdo sounds over there, Drive. What are you doing? One moment. By the way, today was the first day where I had a problem with the server at home that required, or that prevented me from being able to SSH in to start the stream. But I was able to recover my access using changes that I implemented recently. So that was nice. This is the first time I have had that happen and been able to do it. So that was really, really nice to be able to see. Okay, let's see here. All right, we're almost there. All right, system, CTL, restart, SMB, boom. Okay. Now, network, shared folders, SMB 192, 168.1.251/SSD. Boom. Woo! There we go. We got files. Was that the thing figured out Discord a while back with the WireGuard being daft about interfaces? Yes. Yeah, so I used the secondary port forward to get in through the other interface. So this is going over the 10 gigabit port today for no reason. Sorry, here we go. We have our files. So the output file for Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 is right here. So again, if I wanted to rename this, I would have to rename everything in here, which kind of sucks. Oh, I didn't even realize it was that bad. So what I'm wondering, is it even worth attempting this? I don't know. This is we have to have a solution for this because it's going to be a problem. Oh, this sucks. At least the network stuff's good now, because that was pretty terrible before. Maybe I should just expose my whole home folder over there. That might make more sense. Okay, I'm just going to leave this over there. I have access to. All right. Don't need that anymore. All right. Let's think about this. Splitting everything out to the bottom, make a fuse file thing that splits on demand. I do not know what you're talking about, Dratini. Oh, it's probably something related to the share. I'm not that worried about it. Robo Twilight, it's impossible to get into the office from the outside world, so I'm not concerned. Like, hosting here is impossible. So, yeah, I'm not that worried about it. And besides, it's on a computer that it has one job. It controls CD Robot. Okay. So let's think about this now. Oh, this is weird. I didn't even think about this part.
Subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 36 months. End of line.
Willie Fleet, thank you for the tier 1 sub there and for 36 months. I appreciate that. I can now just, ooh, it hates, it does not want to autocomplete a name. That's weird. I can run this locally on that kind of. I might want to run the dummy one. Now that I think about it. You know what? Let's just kill that. Weaponized CD Robot, we tried. It doesn't work. We tried to make it throw CDs. It will not release a CD under any circumstance while the arm is moving. It has too many safeguards built in. I tried. Okay. Let's go over this. Git pull. Just make sure. Git pull. What do you want, eBay? Package was delivered. Ooh, I'm excited about that. That was fast. Oh my God, I bought that yesterday. Not what you think, DZ. Oh, well, actually, it could be two things. You know about both. Doesn't know what kind of thing the S parameter to your custom command is. Knows no clue about takes. No, it works locally. Here, look. Archive. Disk rip. -S. Settings. Excuse me. Oh, there are no settings. 3 drive. Disk rip. -S. Settings. Boom. That works just fine. So it does files. It doesn't do, like, options. That's all. Need to build fancy fake CD that can yeet itself off the arm. The accelerometer detects that peak swing. Just have, like, a preloaded with a rubber band option on there. And then there's, like, the little servo release, and this, and then it... It'll definitely be a good use of your time. Yeah. I really wish that there was a way I could not write PyDiskRip anymore. That would be a really nice use of my time, because I'm kind of tired of working on it. But if I want to be able to archive in bulk, I need it. Anyway, rename. Let's look at this. Self. What did I get from eBay? A thing. It's... I don't really want to say, not because it's like I don't want you to know what I bought, but because there are weird things that happen with buying things through eBay that happen. Which reminds me of a different thing that I had happen that I forgot to respond to. Yeah. Anyway. Media sample. So here's problem number 1 with PyDiskRip and the technical debt. Okay. Media samples are not represented by objects in the code, which has pros and cons. New underscore name. So if true, return. This is because I'm probably going to paste code here in a moment, and I want this to stay functional. Vista 20th anniversary, yeah, that's never ever happening. I will just state straight up, it's not happening. This isn't like a, oh, haha, maybe. No, it will not happen. Nor will a Win 7, or a Win 8, or a 10, or 11. This is never happening again. Sad? Really? Really? I don't think so. Oh, look, it's a computer with a dual-core processor and PCIe. It's totally different from the dual-core processor with PCIe that I built for Windows XP. None of the hardware actually does anything that exciting. It's just a GPU. We don't even need a sound card. Whatever the motherboard has is good enough. Completely not channel related, just as outside bet. I will tell you this. It is something that I would only ever buy for making videos. There is no other use case for it. Well, Paul Guy, in a way, yes. Windows Vista probably is software. It is one of the most interesting Windows. But that wouldn't require a new old stock PC build that would probably cost me $2,000 at this point. Because each time the parts somehow keep getting more expensive. So, although I don't know, maybe, you know, I wouldn't mind pricing it. That would be interesting. The Windows 98 PC cost me, I did actually reveal this, about, I think just a little under $800. The XP PC cost me $1,200. But the XP PC uses like infamous hardware or famous hardware. I don't know that there is famous hardware from the Vista era. So there may be nothing that like commands a value. I don't know. I think maybe a first gen i7, that would probably be it. Like, I can't think of anything else. A QX 9650, that maybe. That actually, that could go for a lot now that I think about it. That would be highest end. But is that more Windows 7 now? Hold on. QX 9650. November 2007. Ooh. Windows, I think Windows 7 was 2009, wasn't it? Windows 7, 2009. So QX 9650 is firmly Windows 7. Interesting. Yeah. I'm going to guess a sealed QX 9650 is expensive. Let's just look this up because we're clearly not getting any work done today. Is there even going to be a new one? No, there are no used ones. Open box. Let's look at the one that claims to have the box. That's not open box. So that one could be a little difficult. Completed. Interesting. Wait, no one has bought a QX 9650? Really? Why? Well, that could make it difficult. That's nice, Helen Croft. That's definitely good. Graphics 2007. GTS 8600. Yawn. It'd be a GeForce 9800. Okay, maybe that 8600 with the ridiculous supercharger heatsink poking off. That would be kind of stupid. It is kind of peak idiotic cooler, though. I'm really, 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 really glad I opened that link on another monitor. And I really, really, really think it's time I install AdBlock. That's better. Golden Pig Edition is winner for me. I know, it's like so stupid. I guarantee you ones like that are going to be expensive beyond belief, though. So that's not going to happen. All right. Anyway, what was yes, this rename. Okay. Bertinio, I don't have a problem with ads on web pages. I do have a problem with ads that cause problems on web pages, though. Most of the time, it's not an issue while I'm streaming. I will click a link, but if it's a weird random page, I will try to open it on another monitor, and in this case, yep, that saved my bacon. But yeah, I generally do not run ad block on any of my computers if they're not being used to show video. So, because someone's got to pay money for the hosting. Well, Ubadi says, I could go pull a QX9650 off a shelf that I have in the other room right now, and I guarantee you it will work. So it's not a matter of if it would be possible to find one that works. That I could do. The problem would be finding a new one. The QX9650 hardware was too useful for too long, and at that point, computers were so commoditized that I would not be surprised if 95% of all stock ever produced actually got sold. So there aren't going to be just like unused ones that got left in the dust because the hardware became irrelevant, and no one actually opened it and used it. So it's just kind of different. Like post Pentium 4, stuff kind of slowed down a little bit for upgrades. So people would have been more likely to use their hardware that they bought. And stores would have been more likely to sell out of it. I think it's etiquette for YouTubers to block ads. It's not, I'm not aware of that. The only reason I would do it is to reduce visual clutter for a page to make it more obvious about something. But generally, I also don't screenshot the kind of places that would have ads, because that kind of place would be using the content to make their own money. So me showing it in a video would be depriving them of the clicks that would get them the money. Yeah, it would have to be new in box. Yeah, yeah. So I think they're going to be rarer because they would have been more likely to be used as far as new in box. And in that particular instance, yeah, the QX9650 would actually be desirable, but it's not desirable for any interesting reason. It's desirable because it was popular. That's completely different than, say, the Voodoo 5. It's 2 VSA 100 GPUs on one card, and it was the Halo product that killed the company. That's an awesome part. Like, that's incredible. But, you know, woo, quad core. Yeah. Like, So. All right. Paul Guy, it's not still Toys R Us's. It's Toys R Us's again. Big difference. And it's more like what Bell and Howell is now. It's a zombie being propped up. Weekend at Bernie's Toys R Us. So. An N400 motherboard, try SLI. That sounds like it would cost me $5,000 to find all of that hardware new in box. That, I bet, would be impossible to find new in box, actually. I don't think it would happen. I don't think there is any amount of money that could get something like that into my hands new in box. I think the only way I could get one is if I contacted hardware manufacturers and they had some left over and they wanted to sponsor a video and they'd sent it. I think that would be it. You could quad SLI, Swarm. I think I have a quad SLI bridge somewhere around here. It's not like the NV link where they had to like stagger either. It's just straight across. Yeah, digital ice age. Yeah. 4 new seal and box CPUs. Okay, hold on. Let me see this. Well, no one wants those. That's why. Those were the bottom basement CPUs. So yeah, that makes more sense. I'm saying something that would be identifiable and desirable from that era. They would have sold all of them. So it's shown to be pretty pointless? No, it's that people don't quite understand how the math works and it makes it feel pointless. So add 1 GPU you almost double your frames. Add a third GPU, you add 50% more frames. And that doesn't sound as good. That sounds like, oh, it's diminishing returns. And then you have to also take into account that it's not really quite double, so it scales back even more. So it sounds worse than it actually is. But SLI can absolutely work. So what about the code? I don't know. It's code. It does codey things. Let's be real. There was never going to be any coding today. Brain was not in the right gear for software, and I don't have another project to like fall back on. I guess we could have just done ripping. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow we do ripping. I don't know. I guess we can work on the code while it rips. Then it feels like at least something happened. But actually, more ripping just causes more problems and need more work on the code. Yeah, I feel stuck with PyDoScript. That's where I'm currently at. I need to modify it because I need to add features. But it's ridiculous. Maybe, you know what? I think I know what the number one thing we can do to help PyDoScript is. And I think it's not currently work on PyDoScript. Let's get this out of here. Don't save. Discard. Git reset hard head. Just whatever I've changed, undo it. What would it do to your power supply? Bad enough running one? That reminds me. Hold on. I'm gonna like send a message. I keep forgetting. Updated disk robot showing all the improvements he made. Maybe something on the second channel. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have an objection to it. I need to make an updated video on head was redundant in that command. Is it? I've never done it without head. Oh, apparently the photos didn't get uploaded. Okay, never mind. I'll have to do it later. All right. Here's what I think we should do. I'm going to just go ahead and shut down the whole CD robot, actually. Power that off. Close the tray. Can only be done on head? Ah. Okay. Here's, I regret. There we go. I want to make a multi-threaded database application in Python. Just a demonstration one. It doesn't have to actually be anything fancy because this will inform me of how I can make PyDoScript better and start to switch over to using some kind of universal shared data source because it sucks. So here's the thing. Let's say SQLite, yeah, you would think, but connection matters in that. You take SQLite and use it? Okay, well, let me explain the software first, then you realize, oh God, no. And also what's wrong with you, and like a whole bunch of other things that are making you question my sanity. We start software, okay? Disk rip, we start this. Okay, so PyDisk rip looks in a folder, okay? Somewhere around here, config read. So this reads the JavaScript or JSON file and then does a bunch of stuff. Okay. It passes the config data onto the media reader thing. All right. And then it goes and does its own stuff. Media reader in here. Okay. For the record, I'd like to point out, it just passed data from this object, this file, to this file, okay? Also, you'll note we're starting this. This is a blocking thing. This is not asynchronous yet. So that's blocking. Okay. We go here, rip groups, whatever thing. So this goes through a whole bunch of data in the config file. So far, this is fine. All right, I don't have any big problems with this. More stuff about the config file that it's sourcing out. That's fine, whatever. Okay, we have our first call, handler web update. So we are sending drive information and the config data to another class so that it has access to this data. So, not wrong with you, Swarm, wrong with me. I'm not saying I'm going to implement my own database. That's not what I'm doing. But we need to have some things. Okay. So now we get to a blocking call. Okay. So this loops and runs forever at this point. So we're stuck in this loop. We load files from a directory. So this would be the input folder. So if we go to home, archive, drive 3, and we look here, .input. That's where it pulls files from, okay? For every file in there, it reads in data from the JSON, creates just a dictionary, all right? From that, works on a bunch of stuff with the dictionary. Actually, it checks if the dictionary already exists and this is problem number 1, it looks in RAM to see if that dictionary or media sample has already been loaded. So if it hasn't been loaded, it marks that it hasn't been finished. It adds the time that it was added, blah, blah, blah. We then add it to the queue and then we move along. Okay. So we also call web update to do some stuff. This is awful. But this may also be the solution. I'm not sure. Ooh, I hate that, but maybe. Anyway. Let's say, let's scale this back. Well, first, let me just get to the kicker, okay? We start a multi-process thing here where this goes and rips in the background and then this updates its own data in the JSON file on the directory or in the folder or whatever. So it's writing to it and it's multiple processes that are writing stuff at one time. They're completely isolated processes and they have all data copied in RAM and then sent over. So that's where this gets really messy. Let me speculate on something. Okay. We make a application in Flask, all right? This is a web server, all right? We have clients that all connect client through the same interface. Over here. Now these, every time we connect with Flask, we create a new, is it a new asynchronous thread? Is that how this works? So if we go here to here, or each, like let's say we have two clients that try to connect to Flask at once. Are these each asynchronous threads, or are they somehow processed sequentially? Because what I'm wondering is if we have our database over here and Flask is the single input to the DB, how does this work? Well, AJ Slim, I know how to do multi-threading. The problem is, how do you handle a single data set for multi-threading? Every single Python multi-threading example on the internet is garbage because they don't solve this problem. Every one of them. I don't care what it is. All of them. Okay. Depends on how you handle the connections. Okay, so let me demonstrate the, you know, a PyLive photo. This one's super simple. Okay. So we have our thing, Flask web server. We start it here. And then we have the web thread that gets added. This is configured with these route rules. And then the web thread gets started. HTTP start here. So HTTP is created based off of the web server object. So start is the function up here, start. So this is started and then released. So this object would end up calling things like the gallery function. And this is asynchronous. So basically it should not have synchronization issues. You're saying if I think it's not necessarily a different thread. Isn't that the whole point of process? Is that is a different thread? Okay, let me start this. I don't know if it will. Okay. And then htop. I have no idea how to search for PyDisk rip in this. F3 Python. Wow, this sucks. F3 disk rip. Why is there so much Firefox? Okay, so this. So we have definitely at least two threads, which probably makes sense because there's only the web server running. We're using multiple processes, not multiple threads. Huge difference when it comes to what you can do. Threads can share date, processes not so much. Yeah, that's the thing. Where does process come from? Process is an included thing from multiprocessing. Yeah, this is where Python really sucks. It is not good at this. at async and multi-threading or whatever. So I settled on this using multiprocessing with Flask all the way back from the gpib web stuff. No multi-threading issues there. Definitely a different process. No multi-threading issues there. Okay, hold on though. I'm saying we have Flask, all right? We have two clients, let's say two clients connect at the same exact time, and they have a long query on the database. So one of them connects first and starts a long query on the database through Flask to the database. Will the second client be allowed in SQLite? Will the second client also be allowed to communicate, or will SQLite lock the database so that only one process can get to it? Because from what I understand, SQLite does not support synchronous calls to the same database file. You think without threads is typically the way to go. Well, I don't know that I understand how that would work. Because I'm not really super great with this stuff. So we could start without gather, which starts these all and then waits for them to die. And then I have something here that's used to hold this open. So real quick, if anyone has experience with SQLite, because it was recommended, I think probably some of you probably used it, hopefully. Am I correct that you cannot have two simultaneous connections to SQLite, and that the two users connecting at once trying to run a long query would be a problem? So SQLite cannot have that. We have to have a single thread that manages it, or a single process, whatever it is. So if I ran, MariaDB or something bigger, which I don't really want to do, then it would be fine. That is amazing, Helen Croft. I kind of want one of those. That's kind of awesome. Okay, this is what I thought. In case of writing, a single write to the database locks it, so you cannot. It lists them indeed as display pieces. That's amazing. I don't know if they have any cool packaging. That would be fun. It looks like there might be a weird mode you can run SQLite in. I can do it. I'm not sure that I'm crazy about that. Most websites don't run on SQLite, though. That's what I'm talking about. If I'm running Postgres, SQL, MariaDB, whatever real database, that would be fine. Any other writer should wait its turn. Okay, that's the main thing, actually, is if, let's say, these are doing big writes. It would just be held? Like, it would just wait? Write some test code? That's what I'm getting at right here, is that I want to write some test code. Yeah, I don't want a full-blown server. So here's what I'm thinking, okay? Maybe we spend the weekend doing this so that I can learn how to do this properly, because I keep writing website or like projects that use a web server as a front end for stuff, and it keeps sucking. It won't go wrong if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I was thinking it might crash, but if the SQL connection, SQLite, just waits until it's turn to be able to write, that's perfect. That's actually all I want. I was just afraid that it would be locked and it would just throw an exception. Okay, here's what we'll do. We're not getting it done in 18 minutes. Trying to think about how architecturally this should work. That would be very silly. I don't know. Python multi-threaded seems very silly. So I don't know. PyThread DB test. How can I write multi-threaded Python applications that access the same DB? Okay, gonna be public. Let's add a git ignore for Python and add a license for MIT, whatever. And add a readme, sure. Okay. Concurrent says yes, they will wait in queue until the write can complete. That's beautiful. Okay. Just don't do threads that are not needed for this. Okay, but they are. Are they not? Okay, so example, CD robot. Each drive gets its own thread to concurrently run a whole process for redumper. So these three run concurrently. Is that not required for threads? Or as threads? Or process? I don't know. Here's the other thing, okay? Like, what's this? Is there? I don't know what there's a difference between a thread and a process. Thread versus process. What the heck is this? This is stupid. Independent sequences of executions. Typical difference is that threads of the same process run in a shared memory space, while processes run in a different memory space. Okay, but Python thread share memory. Isn't this like you can only have like very specific variables that you put in like a small window of RAM that it can use? Like it's not really shared memory. No, that's process. Import threading. I swear I started with threading for the GPIB stuff, and then I left it gleefully because it was horrible. What am I currently using here? We're using process. And then this is when I started just writing stuff to a database or a JSON file, I think. Python threads and tasks do. Okay. I think I owe tasks, threads, process. Okay. So somehow we could do this with purely async, is what you're saying. And we don't need any process or don't need process or threads. We should be able to do this with just async IO. What did I write that used SQLite? Because I did write one thing that did. Do purely async. Okay. No. Yes. The NTF code uses SQLite. For blocking, operations get awaited and other stuff runs. Your function resumes when that operation completes. Okay, hold on though. Where blocking operations get awaited. Okay. I async IO. I think I need to throw out your last comment, Ben. I think I need to ignore that. Let's do a really quick one. Okay? Really quick. Back. Code. SSH. Copy. Git. Clone. Boom. PyThread test, blah, blah, blah. Create text file. Sleep. Async. .py. Open. Disk rip. Lazy. Copy. Paste. Async IO. Paste. Import. Time. I don't want to talk and explain this because I just want to do it and find out. Dratino, if I have to do something like that, it has failed. All right, let me try this a different way. Hold on, let me first make sure I remember the syntax correctly. Thought it was just OS run. Fine. Okay, so that. This is what I'm going to run. How about that instead of sleep? And sleep is a blocking call. I don't think you guys understand what I'm trying to convey. The disk drives are going to be ripping for like 5 minutes at a time. There is going to be a blocking command that happens in these programs. I need to have all 3 drives ripping at one time. So if you're telling me async puts like a stack of operations that are going to happen, and then well, no, because you're not telling us. I tried. Ben, I have no idea what that means. All right. Answer me this. Using purely async IO, is it possible for me to run multiple instances of Linux Sleep 100 at a time concurrently using just async IO? Purely answer that question. Because that's what this boils down to. Yes. Okay. That's what I need to do. See the sub-process documentation. What? Why is sub-process involved now? Their sync IO creates, oh my God, every single time. Can't lose my mind. Okay. Let me ask it this way. Is there any way using just async IO that I can have this simultaneously count the number 3 times? Have each of these be running concurrently with just this? No. Okay. Async IO is not valid. Oh my God. Sorry, but it's just like, okay. Yeah, well, this is what I was trying to get to, is that I need to be able to run pure Python code that can simultaneously run your drives do I/O. It's not just the drives. FFmpeg is run through Python that will be able to do multiple files being encoded from one format to another. It can't just be a subprocess or a bunch of different random things for how the calls are made. I'm saying it's not as simple as just reading the drives. So every time you guys are coming up with like just use subprocess with this or use this kind of sleep, it's not valid for the problem. So again, we're back to process then. You have to use multiprocessing. Okay, so I've been doing it correctly the whole time. So we're back to needing to figure out how to do multiprocessing with SQLite. No kidding, RF programmer. Here is how this works, okay? So for data, let's just look at the FFmpeg, for example. FFmpeg is a library, and I don't care if it supports async IO. I don't care, okay? It does this, which is a long call. Multiple processes is the easiest way. Okay, so we're going to do that. So I will have to figure out how to handle that then. All right. Well, we're out of time. I'm going to play with this off stream. I'm going to try and make this demo, maybe. Yeah, we'll multiple process the easiest way. Okay, we'll try and do that then. Because I think I'm going to lose my mind if I try and maintain the just throwing variables all over in PyDescript. You then need to open the SQL database and each process individually. Don't try to open it in the parent and inherit it in the children. Yeah, that is one of the things. And that's where it's one of the sticky areas. So I think what I'll end up doing is I'll just make a function in the parent that like adds or removes data from it, and then the child classes will call that function, which will then instance a new connection. So we've got some example code for inspiration. I know all of the pieces of the puzzle already. I just need to see how they fit together. That's what it is. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to make a Flask application, and I don't know that I'll finish this tonight. I'll end up making a Flask application where when you have the window open, it constantly sends the timestamp to the database, and then each window, each instance, maybe I'll try and assign an ID to each open instance, and then I'm going to have them all write their data to the database and then read it back from each client, and then I'll just be able to open multiple tabs to be able to see what they are reading and writing. So, yeah. I know, Robert. I'll look that stuff up after stream and see how it goes. Multi-processing can be wrapped into async IO too. That's how I was doing it, and that's how I am doing it in PyDescript currently. Then you lose some control over the process. Yeah. I'm not sure what you're saying, Schmide, because part of the thing is that, like, we have the list of files that are being generated. I don't know. Well, it's, you know what? We're going to have to wrap it up. Yeah, Ben, again, if, sure, FFmpeg has an async IO thing. How about Wand, then? How about the Grease Weasel package? How does that handle when you're reading a floppy disk? Like, it doesn't end. That's why async IO with proper blocking threads is not the answer. But, all right. I'm not actually I can't end the stream from over here. Hold on. That is one thing I need to add to the software, actually, is I want the ability to connect to the stream server so that I can end the stuff from there with the buttons. It should be possible. So, all right. Well, yeah. Windows tasks just be background workers that can complete whenever. So Paul Guy, the Grease Weasel example, let's say, as soon as it finishes ripping the floppy disk, we have flux. We then need to convert the flux from flux into an image file. We then also simultaneously convert the flux from flux into an actual, like, literal bitmap using HXC. So that we have an image of what the flux data looks like. Then, after we have the binary decoded data, we convert that into just generic files using, I don't know, mtools. So there's many, like, cascading things that get called. So there's going to be a major rewrite of PyDisk, I suspect, which really sucks. Yeah, I understand, Ben, the trying to teach to fish instead of just giving the fish, but in this case, I just need to know which fish is applicable, and async IO is not, it seems like. We were on about wrapping, threading, in, and multiprocessing anything that doesn't have an async interface, spinning up thread, and don't think about it. It's really nice, trust us. Oh my gosh, here in chat, we're very much async. Yeah, that's the downside to the RTMP streaming, is there's so much delay. It does make it more difficult to have this conversation. I'm sorry about that. The RTMP is so much better quality, though. It's worth it. Anyway, multiprocessing with async IO. Well, I don't know how that's going to end up working out. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm gonna mess around with it with Flask tonight. Maybe I'll try out some different examples, but yep. All right. It was crisp, yeah. So anyway, all right, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you all for being here. Sorry we didn't actually accomplish literally anything. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did a lot. It was just all before stream today. Yep, just in time, yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna try and mess around with Python and multi-threading and async IO and Flask and SQLite and just try and see what all I can